Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I say all three because whether you are joining us live or later on demand, we want to welcome you to the first 2024 session of the Insight webinar series. We are so excited to bring an all-star together with you to talk personally while spotlighting ES Success in Trucking, their upcoming Success in Trucking engagement, or the SITE as we call it, being held in Southaven, Mississippi, April 11th and 12th. My name is Leah Shaver, and I'll serve as host and moderator of today's conversation. I want to thank you for your part in keeping our country moving. Thank you to those of you who work from sunup to sunset and all the time before, after, and in between, especially taking the time to join us today. As professional truck drivers continue to deliver necessities across North America, just know that we are always cheering for you. We worry about you. We hope the best for you. And today we are very happy to connect with you. Every day is an extraordinary time to be in the transportation industry, especially as a small business owner, and I'm excited for today's discussion. Before we get this party started, and as we give attendees a moment to join us, I'm going to share a couple of notes about today's webinar. First of all, the Insight 2024 online series is being presented by Expediter Services, or ES Success in Trucking. ES is a leader in capacity solutions and ownership opportunities, and they are pleased to have Stoops Freightliner and Dobbs Peterbilt serve as the title sponsors for Insight 2024. Our webinar series is only part of the Insight. ES is also producing the Insight 2024 podcast series. Through the podcast, we offer listeners an in-depth look at key issues and opportunities in the trucking industry. To listen to the podcast series, including my most recent episode, and to get the latest news on the SITE 2024, please visit successintrucking.com. In this edition of the Insight 2024 webinar series from ES, we will be exploring how comprehensive support and the services that trucking business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs receive as part of the ES community and an operational partnership with exclusive motor carriers and vendors ensures that you will never stand alone. Couple of introductions as we get started. I'm Leah Shaver. I own and operate the National Transportation Institute, where we serve information and support to folks that employ or contract with professional drivers or work with companies that do. I serve as on the board of directors for the Next Generation in Trucking Association, and I work as a talk radio host on SiriusXM's Road Dog Trucking Radio. In addition to filling in for full-time hosts, you can catch me the first Thursday of every month from 11 to 2 Eastern for Payday with Leah Shaver on Road Dog Live, bringing you more important discussions like today's, but live for your midday drive. I have a couple of goals for today. We're going to offer you an inside look at the programs and support that ES has firmly established to position trucking entrepreneurs for success. Through that discussion, our panelist is going to share the commitment that both ES and their partners have made from the executive level throughout their organizations to support professional drivers. The webinar will also serve as a spotlight to the upcoming Success in Trucking engagement, live and in person in April in Southaven, Mississippi. Joining me for today's discussion is the heavy hitter. In fact, I'd say by the end of our time together, you will be sure that in our capable hands, you're going to know why now is the time and this is your year for your new business. Jeff Tacker, Chief of almost everything at Expediter Services. That's what I call you, but I'm going to let you introduce yourself and make sure our attendees know exactly who you are and what you do.
All right. Thank you, Leah. And thanks to everyone that's joining us today. We appreciate you taking your time to be with us. So I won't get into a lot of details about myself, Leah, because I'm not here for me. I'm here for you and here for them. But just so they'll know who I am in case they need somebody to call or get on to if things aren't exactly the way they're supposed to be. My name is Jeff Tacker. I'm the Executive Vice President, the Chief Operating Officer, and Chief Commercial Officer for Expediter Services. I've been with the company since 2010 with Paul and Jason Williams. They were the co-founders of our company. We're here in Southaven, Mississippi. We're here to help people. My goal is to do everything I can to lay out the things that we're doing to the people, Leah, so that they can grab a hold to what we do, understand what we do, and hopefully have a desire to at least reach out to us to see how we can help.
Good. Well, I think we can dive in one step further and share how ES works to place program participants and community members in a position to be successful.
Yeah. So I'm going to kick that back to you.
All right. Well, one of the things that I'm often asked about is how I see that ES is unique, how they stand out, and how they work to place program participants in a position to be successful. So I guess one of the things I would point out, and this is a setup for the first question that I'm going to ask you, is, I think that being a business owner isn't necessarily for everyone, especially in this industry. You really have to work at it. It's a longer day, a 7-day week. There's holidays, there's nights. Family becomes part of the business because calls come at any time when you're running a business, not just from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. I think we were just talking about that a moment ago. There's so much that goes in any direction, but ES doesn't just sell a truck or finance a truck. They aim to create small businesses in the same theory of the 4 founders of our country. You help folks at a motor carrier of the driver's choice. Truck drivers like freedom. That's why they choose this career. And again, you don't stop at that financing. Then there's support and leverage, carrier advocacy, so business owners can focus on generating revenue, not on day-to-day issues. And you leverage that experience in contacts, to negotiate and make available a variety of other resources. So we say at ES, you never stand alone. I think I've often heard Jason talk about servicing from the truck up. In addition to my setup, is there anything you'd add to Jason's position?
Oh, and I knew I threw that back at you. I knew I'd get a grin out of you, and I know you're going to kill me when we get into a private conversation.
No, not at all.
But I love to see you roll. And I'm not just saying that, but I knew you would do it. And it's good to hear. There's a saying that says it's better to have other people say things about you than you try to say them about yourself. And so that was not set up. You did not know I was going to kick that back that way. And I know it looked like I fumbled it, but I want to throw it back to you because here's what I wanted to touch on, Leah. I wanted you to throw out what we're doing because you got a big voice in this industry and all the things that take place. And I know you've got a big following, and we appreciate what you do for us and what National Transportation Institute does for us, for you and Mark and your family, because I know you also look at the drivers in the truck as part of your extended family because you got it right there behind it. We love truckers. Of course, you know us, Leah, we love truckers as well. And my daddy was a trucker. Paul's father was a trucker, and we care about the people. And there's lots of things that we've done, but everything that we've done to create is to align ourselves and set ourselves up as a company to help people and to help people specifically in trucking. And we've done this from the truck level up. So we've just sort of turned the world upside down in trucking. And I don't mean that as not an arrogant statement, and we're not trying to act like we're somebody special. We're just different. And so the things that we've done and the way we've aligned ourselves as a company is whatever is beneficial to the truck, whatever is beneficial to the driver, to the owner, to the operator of the truck, that's where we have aligned ourselves. So the way they make money, the better they do, the better we do. The better that the truck does, the better that the operator and the owner of the truck does. My belief is it's better for the motor carrier that puts the freight on the truck. It's better for the shippers and the receivers because they have people that's invested into their business. And it's ultimately better for the end user and the consumers because they have people that love doing what they do, and they have a stickiness and an eagerness to do well for the supply chain, regardless of what truck motor carrier that they're with, they got to love trucking. And you love truckers, we love trucking, and we love trucking.
All right, so let's talk about my question that I kind of set up for you earlier. I don't think that being an owner operator is for everyone. And I'll add to that folks that became owners in 21 in response to the most recent boom, but without preparedness related to expenses, to revenue, to commitment and support, they've really suffered in 2023. And again, remember, I'm saying without all of that support. So years like 2023, which might feel normal to some, they require a more savvy of business owners to tuck in, to focus on revenue, monitor expenses, and nurture relationships with customers, external and internal, like our own people, our partners. So do you feel, in light of a tougher year last year for folks that weren't set up to be successful and prepared with that extra support, is this a good time to consider buying a truck and starting your own business?
So Leah, and I love it when you ask that question, and you normally ask it every time. And I know there's a purpose and a reason that you ask it, because in this world and in this industry, there's always naysayers, and there's always things, there's always obstacles, there's always hurdles and hills, and there always will be. This is trucking, and it does cycle. And trucking's not easy. So everybody that's doing it, everybody that's out there, regardless of what level or what involvement or engagement they have in trucking, it is a very difficult industry. It's a very needed industry, and it's we've got a lot of good people, and there's all opportunities inside of this industry. And so, is now a good time? I personally believe that now is a good time if that's what you want to do. You need to be invested into it. You need to make sure that's exactly what you want to do. Many people doing analysis and financial and data research, and you're into that, Leah, and you could probably really get into that about all the things that's taking place. But I've been reading recently where they're seeing light at the end of the tunnel. Now, that doesn't mean that the tunnel's short, but at least you can see light at the end of the tunnel. So with that, I do think now is the perfect time, especially since things cycle. It's like catching a wave. You don't want to see the wave coming after the wave is on top of you or past you, good or bad. You need to be proactive, not reactive. And I believe that many people that get in right now, and we see the positive wave coming this way. We know it's an election year, so I don't want to jump odd into a topic or take us down a rabbit hole, Leah. And so there, in an election year, there's always oddities that go on. And I'm not here trying to talk about one political party over the other or one better than the others. This is nothing about that, because what we have to do in trucking, what you and your business has to do, what everybody that's listening to us has to do, that they have to make it in good times and bad times, regardless of who's in Washington, D.C. and who's in the White House. They've got to be able to make it for them and their families, because we can't just curl up one way or the other, regardless of personal beliefs and the way things take place. But with that, Leah, now is the time to do it, because I do believe that we're starting to see a shift in dynamics. It's still headwinds, but they're not quite blowing as hard. We don't know what the next several months are going to bring out, but we are seeing positive trends, positive trend lines, and we're excited about the opportunity that's before us. So while it still could be some tough marching here, you and I were on a radio show yesterday on March 4th. There still could be some tough marching during this time period, but now is the time. And of course, this is the place. And so when we do it, Leah, there's things that we always have set up to help people. And our program, so I'll just touch it right here. So one of the things I say now's the time is because our programs benefit people good times and bad times, because the things that we've brought together to increase efficiencies and to reduce cost, those are the things that we've done. And you need that whether you have a lot or have little. You need to be able to be more efficient, and everybody, including myself, can get more efficient in some areas. You also want to reduce your costs as much as you can. So if you're doing really well, you don't need to get lack, and you don't need to let pennies slip away. If things are a little more difficult, you set up that time, you get lean, you can become a lean, mean fighting machine during tough times. And you can do that, Leah, by cutting your cost out, because pennies, saving pennies is what it's about. And pennies turn into dollars, and dollars is what they're at there running their businesses for.
I would say fractions of pennies even in a trucking business. So absolutely true. And you talked about the data that my company produces. I won't bore you or our attendees, but I will tell you that apparently today is a day called Super Tuesday, and my team put out what we see historically in data in election years. So that's at NTI driver wages. So interesting timing. But You also mentioned that now is the time, this is the place. So I want to start talking about the site. We have an upcoming in-person event, the Success in Trucking Engagement. It's April 11th and 12th. And that's why we're here together, Jeff, just you and me to talk about this event. We're both on the committee to plan the event. And we have an invitation to a few different sets of folks. Aspiring entrepreneurs that are looking to own their own trucking business, a lot of folks that want to become owners every day, owner operators looking to become a fleet owner. Once you have success, a lot of folks like to grow. And then fleet owners looking to further grow their fleet. So our last in-person event held by ES was in 2019. And now we've been virtual and at some other events in the meantime, but we're back in business this year in Southaven, Mississippi, which I was hoping for. It's just outside of Memphis. It's your essentially the backyard of ES, so we know where. But let's talk about the who, the what. We know the when. We'll repeat it a few times, and the why. So why does ES want to have the site back again in 2024?
Yeah, so of course you mentioned it, Leah, and I'll just give a quick walk down memory lane. So we started our company, or this company was started in 2006, and after we originated and did many things to help from be a corporate capacity provider in the expedite sector, we ended up being able to grow and expand to offering what we did for that group of people that were running full service lease trucks. We expanded that to help owner operators. And when we moved from helping owner operators, and we expanded from expediting into the general truck, LTL, and truckload market as well. And so all those things have taken place, Leah, to help the people and help them do better for their business. But one of the reasons that we started trying to get back in person is we started with what we called EGGS, Expediter Group Gatherings. We found out that laying eyes on people, touching hands with people, shaking hands, rubbing elbows, bumping elbows, even we talked about yesterday, even throwing a few elbows in conversation, nicely elbows thrown, but like nudging each other with our vendors and our communities. It just lets people know that what we do is real and what we do is beneficial to help them. So there's a lot of people who can talk the talk, but not everybody will walk the walk. And we want to have an in-person event. So we had the last one you'd mentioned, 2019. We rented the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in Indianapolis, Indiana. You were there and you presented and ran, moderated for us. And we had many people there, and we enjoyed that outcome. And then everybody knows what took place in 20, and then just trying to get back on track 21, 22, and 23. Our company has done well in those years, but we were trying to make sure it's the right timing to come back out and have an in-person intimate gathering. So I will like to state that we're not for everybody. This event is not like a wide open event, Leah, trying to get thousands and thousands and thousands of people packed into a small room to deal with something. What this is, though, it's an intimate setting. And at that intimate setting, why we like to have it this way is people can break bread. We can break bread with them. They can get to know us, and we can get to know them and spend time. You'd mentioned it before. It's one thing going to a seminar and having someone speak at you. It's another thing with having a meal with somebody, walking around with somebody, and having somebody speak with you. There's differences between speaking at someone and speaking with someone. And not only us, Leah, you're going to be there. I mean, you're a celebrity in the industry, right? So you'll be there. And then we're going to have many of our vendors are, Dobbs Peterbilt, Stoops Truck Country, Freightliner. They're going to be there. We're going to have FedEx Custom Critical, Panther Premium Logistics, Service of ArcBest, Forward Air is going to be there. And there will be representatives from all of these companies that's going to be there. We're going to have Love's Travel Stock. We're going to have TA Petro will be there. Many people, many vendors that support our intimate community will be there, all for the sole purpose of helping somebody answer questions, getting to know what we do, getting to know them, seeing how we can do things to better serve them that suits them and their family, to help them hopefully start and or upgrade and or grow their business to do what's best for them. So that's why we want to do it in person here, and like you said, in Southaven, Mississippi, at the Landers Center, April the 11th and the 12th, just right in our backyard. And I mean, that's really what we want people to come see us, Lee.
You took away a little bit of my thunder, emphasizing the other folks that will be there. I'm poking at you, but you mentioned intimacy, and we're calling it the Success in Trucking Engagement, where we removed Expo from our title and switched over to engagement for 2024. You've touched on how important it was to us to bring folks back together, to break bread, to meet in person. And I just think it's key to touch on the fact that it is this engagement, that it's another way that ES stands out. It's a unique opportunity to meet folks at all of the different vendors that are in the ES community supporting folks. It's also an opportunity to meet the dealers themselves and talk about equipment availability, to have wonderfully planned, very, very closely looked at and examined meals, drinks. I mean, everything is top-notch, best-in-class service when we have this in-person event. But adding to that, you've also brought in a keynote speaker for the first night, and I think we should touch on him as well, because he is a veteran and his story is really unique.
Yeah, thank you for that, Lee. And I know he'll be, I believe he will be beneficial to people that get to hear him. His name is Eric McElvaney. Jason and I had the honor of meeting him and hearing him at one of the Motor Carriers events several years ago. And we put him in our database, in our mental database, and said if we ever get the opportunity to utilize him, that we would like to. And so I'll just read a little bit about him, if you don't mind. That way people
Sure.
can have it. But he is our keynote speaker, Eric McElvaney. And it says that he is an expert in teaching resilience. So what a word, resilience. Trucking needs resilient people. But anyway, said Eric deployed 3 times as a Marine, and on his final tour, an experience in Afghanistan, he was wounded after stepping on an IED. He suffered the amputation of his right leg, a life-changing opportunity that began his next journey. Now, he wrote that. I don't know if I would have defined stepping on an IED as a life-changing opportunity, because I know if I stump my toe, I don't call that a life-changing opportunity. And stumping a toe is nowhere near the sacrifice and the trauma that Eric had experienced, what he dealt with. If I get up and have some things that don't go exactly right, do I look at it like a life-changing opportunity? I'd tell you that I don't always. Sometimes I say it's a life obstacle. But he decided to define, and what he would like us to introduce him by is him stepping on an IED is a life-changing opportunity that began his next journey. And what he did, he went on to complete 8 Ironman triathlons, to include the World Championships in 2013. That's amazing, Leah. It's amazing. I don't know. He mentally had to get right, and he'll share his story. I'm not going to steal his thunder. Even I might steal yours, but I can't steal Eric's, because it's his story. But then he also recently had the privilege of representing Team USA at the 2020 Paralympic Games in Tokyo, Japan. It says throughout his journey, Eric realized that the challenges and adversity he was up against and the techniques he used to reach the finish line could be used against the challenges we all entertain. And specifically, we thought that him being resilient and him having went through a life-changing ordeal that he called an opportunity instead of obstacle or detrimental, and challenges and adversities. If things could define, and I know you're sitting there probably in your mind, and I know you well enough to know that the wheels are turning when you start talking about the data and the challenges and adversities that we face in trucking, Leah. What are those? Everybody faces challenges and adversities, specifically if you're in a truck. And so what the neat thing about this, why I think it's going to fit hand in hand, is that he's going to come in and he's going to talk about what he went through. And there's no way that I could sit here and say that operating a truck would have the same impact as stepping on an IED. I'm not saying that. And I don't think Eric's trying to say that either, because I won't speak for him and I'll let him present his message when he gets here. But I want to give enough out there so people want to come. They want to come hear what he's got to say. And but I will tell you that no matter what you're going through, that there's things that you're going to face and you're going to need help. And at the time you're going through it, whether it's a great big thing or a small thing, if it's a challenge and it's has adverse effect on you and your family, it's what you're dealing with right then, right? And so because of that, we want people to come hear what he has to say about what he went through and how he handled it. And I'm just telling you, then what we're going to do is tie that into how we, our community, our company can help people overcome challenges and adversity by being resilient in trucking.
I actually want to touch on it right now because the more you shared of his story, it also brings to mind a great passion of mine is to inspire folks to have trucking be a first choice career and not a second, third, or fourth choice career, or maybe even further. And when someone experiences adversity, we don't typically see those events as being opportunities, but oftentimes that adversity presents itself to us later once we get over ourselves and whatever happened as an opportunity. And isn't trucking so much like that? Because folks don't start out in trucking initially, and I know that any of our attendees, this has to resonate, because again, this is not a first choice career typically, simply because of age restrictions alone. Most of the time folks have some sort of other challenges and adversity, and it leads them to make a career change and land in trucking as an option and later becoming an opportunity. So I do think that the story further resonates, not just because we all experience challenges and adversity in the truck that we can't control every day, like weather, traffic, the people near us on the highway, but also because we might have ended up in trucking simply because of those life-changing opportunities that began their next journey.
That is true, Leah. And you said it. Many people come to trucking later in life because of all the reasons. And I'm sure you'll probably share lots of things. You've got some wonderful slides, so I'm not going to, get into your presentation for another time either. But you shared with us when we were the title sponsors at the Expedite Expo last year, and you were our keynote speaker at that event. And you got up and shared a lot of things with that audience about the different career paths and the different stages and the different generations and all those reasons, which I find very interesting as you look at things, just because I really do like understanding people and seeing how different people respond and react to things. But you are correct when you say that trucking a lot of times is not the first choice, and sometimes it's not the second or third. And I say choice, it don't mean like it's a bad choice. It's age restrictions, it's requirement, it's opportunity, right? Because it's different levels. Now, I will tell you that our company can help in all those areas. We can take people at any stage and when I say any age, I mean, obviously there's a federal motor carrier regulations that require certain guidelines, but within the aspect of meeting those requirements for the trucking, our company and our community can help people in all those different areas. And but you are right. I think there's going to be lots of things that tie in with what Eric is talking about to go back to this, to the group of people that we're trying to help, whether they're just coming in, they're just starting, whether they've been doing it, whether they have been doing it for many, many, many years, whether they're contract drivers, lease purchase owner operators, rental owner operators, fleet owners, regardless of where they're at. That's one thing about us as a community and the way our programs work. We're no respecter of person when it comes to that way. We help each and every one the same way because benefits, advantages, and tools can be applied by many different people. And it's the same advantages and benefits and tools that they're all applying, just at different levels.
I hope that everyone else is as excited as we are about this speaker. It sounds like you've made a great choice. I had nothing to do with this decision, so I can't in any way take credit for it, just in the setup for why people should be excited. But I'm really looking forward to, of course, the event overall, but especially our keynote speaker. I want to switch gears and talk about the 3 motor carriers that are attending the site. We've got Forward Air, we've got FedEx Custom Critical, and we've got Panther Premium Logistics, a service of ArcBest. I think it behooves us, Jeff, while we're here with our listeners and attendees, to talk about what each of them do, because they all have different touch points in the industry, and therefore different opportunities for the folks that are considering partnering with Expediter Services, Success in Trucking, and also looking at attending the site and meeting with these 3 motor carriers. So let's talk about what they do.
Sure. So, and I'll do it in alphabetical order. That way I don't get in trouble because we spread the love and share the love amongst all our partner sponsored motor carriers. And you are right, Leah. There is overlap because we're in trucking, right? That's like saying all fish in the sea or the ocean are competitors, and they're not, because they swim different ways, do different things, live in different areas, and function and look and act differently, but they're still fish. So when you're talking about these motor carriers, I would like to start out saying that the 3, and you did it very well, but the 3 motor carriers that will be spotlighted, they are our spotlighted motor carriers for the Success in Trucking Engagement 2024 is FedEx Custom Critical, Forward Air, Panther Premium Logistics, a service of ArcBest. And they are different in the way they handle things. There are lots of similarities. They are motor carriers. But one way, and another similarity, is that they're either an asset light or a non-asset based motor carrier. So they do not have company drivers. I'm talking about in general, the majority of the fleet. So they own trailers, they have equipment, and I don't want to get into a legal definition because I know one motor carrier might have one very, very small segment of a company-owned fleet, but it does not compete with their owner-operator base. So one of the reasons that we highlight and we have partnered with so well with these specific motor carriers is they look at it and have the same intent, tone, and intentions and viewpoint that we do, is that they want an owner-operator model. They want independent operators that are out there. And they want people that have an entrepreneurial mind, spirit, and aspirations to run their equipment. They want them to have the freedom, flexibility to make their decisions, but they hope those decisions are business-minded decisions that help them do what's best for them and their family. Well, we know if you're in trucking, to do what's best for you and your family, it's normally to operate the truck as efficiently and as effectively as you can to produce the most revenue you can for the amount of miles that's dispatched to you. So these specific motor carriers are asset-based, are non-asset, or asset light, or non-asset based motor carriers, and they have owner operators. Now, inside that group, when you get past that, I'll start with Forward Air in this category because they're a LTL and truckload expedited carrier. So they're nationwide. They LTL and truckload. I mean, anybody that's been trucking knows that less than truckload and truckload. We know that FedEx Custom Critical and Panther Premium Logistics, a service of ArcBest, are expedite motor carriers that also have other designated freight and designated areas that they can service people in. When you get subdivided down into that, and I'm just giving general terms, Leah, so I'm not trying to pit one against the other or one over the other, just general topics. But FedEx Custom Critical does a lot of white glove, temperature validated, straight truck, dock to dock, point to point, pharma type loads. And they've got general freight as well, and they run tractors as well, but they really specialize and they have a really elite fleet in white glove temperature validated freight offerings, specifically in team straight truck operations. Not that they can't help you with a tractor. Then you've got Panther Premium Logistics. We know that Panther runs straight trucks and tractors as well, and they really do well in the Department of Defense area. They've got general freight, they've got life science, so they've got high value loads. And then we know what Forward Air, they run a very efficient LTL and truckload operation. They look at it the way you're supposed to look at an operating fleet. They understand operations in that environment. So one of the great things about the motor carriers that we have is they are wanting to get the best of the best. They're wanting people to come in that want to do good for them and their families, that want to run their own business. They treat you with mutual respect, business owner to business owner. They are not trying to boss you around and tell you what to do. There are requirements, Lee. I mean, if you live in the United States of America, there's certain requirements. If you live in a certain city or a certain subdivision, there are certain requirements that you have to abide by, that you agreed to abide by being in that community and that environment. And it's no different with these motor carriers. But I will tell you that we're excited about the motor carriers that will be there because they have opportunity. We know what's been going on, and I don't get off in rates and miles and all that scenario. I'll leave that up to them and maybe to you as the expert to speak overarching about those things. But I will tell you that they have set themselves up to help people. They've got a good customer base, meaning they have freight. They take care of the people that's with them. They take care of their customers, and that's one of the reasons they like owner-operator model, is because once the people are business-minded and realize that they need to take care of the end customer, the shippers and the receivers, you just get better service. You know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So it's the same thing in operating a truck. You can tell somebody you need to pick up here and deliver here, but if they don't have that desire inside of them, they don't have that motivation, and they don't have that drive, it's more difficult than when somebody that does have it. And it's, in my opinion, owner operators in this business model are proving that that's what they want to do. You don't have to make them do anything. Not that you can make them. You ask them to do something. You tell them what's needed to be done, and they rise to the occasion, Leah, and get that handled. So.
Yeah, I do think that one of the standout characteristics of a successful owner operator of any type, a successful independent contractor, is that they are focused on commitment to principles like fuel economy, safety, anything that translates and connects directly to a line item expense for their business, one of which is relationships with customers, their safety and performance above expectations, being best in class in what it takes to make it through difficult times. And the independence to run your own business, but still operate with a partner motor carrier does tie directly into making changes when necessary within the business, but the freedom to not need individual direction, over every single item that you deliver, over every move that you make throughout the day. You're not going to get that type of individual direction and control. You have to be dedicated to your own business and to your customers and to all of the principles tied into, again, what really hits the bottom line of your business. And those ultimately can translate into a greater success for a business owner.
I agree with you, Lee, and you'd mentioned something. So they're motivated to do that. And I'll tell you why, because they've got skin in the game. And when you have skin in the game, you want to make sure you protect your skin, right? So even I wish I could say that everybody just is, kind and happy all the time, and they just get up and smiling and always want to do it because it's just the right thing to do. But I tell you that most of the time, or not most of the time, some of the time, at the worst case scenario, they have a chance to lose. They have a chance to lose because it's their business. And if they don't get in a truck and operate the truck efficiently and do all the things, if they're not safe, if they don't operate with a profitable scenario, if they don't have efficient operations, if they don't take care of the truck, if they don't do pre, during, and post trip inspections, then they're just setting themselves up to lose. So they don't get paid by sitting. They get paid by operating, and they get paid by operating efficiently. So
to deliver, actually.
that's exactly
You
right.
get paid to deliver freight, right? That's
exactly
how we get paid.
You're right, Leah. So I think the big difference is they got skin in the game. They have a vested interest, even if it's selfish vested interest, to do the best for them and their business and their family. And if they don't, it's going to cost them.
Jeff, this isn't directly related to the site, but it's just in this conversation, another component that strikes me about the motor carriers and what you're talking about, which relates to, direction and control, and the difference between if you're a company driver and if you're running your own business. But these motor carriers, the other thing that stands out, we talk a lot about what stands out to me about ES, but these are not folks that are like churning through. We're not taking equipment at a motor carrier, turning drivers through them, and having in and out, no commitment type scenario. When you partner with someone, when you finance them, even if it's in a path to ownership program, maybe we should just touch lightly on a little bit of that. But no matter the relationship, you are starting a relationship with a contractor with the long term in mind, long term support, long term community. Just being committed again to their long term success. And I would argue that these three motor carriers, being more independent contractor minded, that they also have that same mentality. Would you agree?
I do agree with you, because I will tell you that in some environments, not these and not the three that we have, but in some environments, turnover benefits those motor carriers. And I know that's an odd statement. And if it might not, they'll say it don't. And I'm not here trying to like cast stones at anybody. I mean, we're not doing that. What I am saying is that in our program and with our motor carriers that we support, turnover is not our friend. Retention is our friend. Now, that's a buzzword, right? Everybody recruit and retain, recruit and retain. And so I think the trucking industry is really good on recruiting, but I don't think they're all very well on retaining. And one of the reasons they're not well on retaining is just the way things are set up. I will tell you that in any segment of trucking, there's turnover because life happens. You can be perfectly fine, things are going good, but and I'll just use an example: a husband and wife team, or same household team out on the road, and something happens to someone back at their house or at their home, and they have to come off the road. So what affects one affects all. And I will tell you that because of that, turnover happens. But I will also tell you that the motor carriers that we're with have done exactly what you said, is they have us into the picture for a reason, to try to increase the retention. We want to get good people in. We want to give them all the tools and everything they need to operate. And we want to do everything we can to keep them tied in to that operations. Because I will tell you that because things are hard and things are tough, anybody can get aggravated and want to quit. But when you have your truck out there, when you're in a good spot, you ought to take a log off the fire, make sure that you don't make a hasty, quick decision. And turnover is bad. It's bad for the people in the truck. It's bad for the supply chain. It's bad for the motor carrier. It's bad for the operators. It's just bad. And so turnover is a bad word. And when you get right down into what we do, the way we finance, the way we handle everything, Leah, I can assure you turnover is bad, because when you're financing somebody a truck. When you're getting them into a truck, you've got exposure, you've got risk. And we'll help people because we finance not based upon credit score, Leah. We finance based upon attitude, aptitude, work ethic, and work history. And you had mentioned the PTO, our path to ownership. We have a try it before you buy it program. So that's why I said earlier that we can help people in any stage, any way they want to. So if they want to come in and they say, well, you know, I want you to prove to me that you are who you say you are, Expediter Services, ES, Success in Trucking, prove that to me. And I want to prove that the motor carrier is the right way and the equipment that you selected is the best type of equipment and set up to help me operate the most effectively and efficiently. I want that to be proven to me. So we have a pathway to ownership, a try it before you buy it. So they can come in and they're rental owner operators. They come into our system. We can give them access through a rental program to get into a piece of equipment operated at one of our selected partner motor carriers to make sure that the motor carriers got the freight they like, the dispatch functions the way that they want it to function, the equipment functions the way they would expect it to function, and then our services that we tout so broadly and openly in our community will do exactly what we say they will do. We say, come in, taste and see that what we do is what we do, and we are who we say we are. And when people come in and do that, they got access to that. And the pathway to ownership, they can do that without a large financial investment. And then once they're there for a little bit of time, they turn right around and they say, you know, I would like to go ahead and own a truck. And we say, okay, we can help you go into the ownership portion of a truck. We've got many financial documents to do that. We've got a non-traditional lease with an option to purchase. We got straight bank financing where the title's put in their name. We've got many ways to help people get to where they want to go. And that don't necessarily depend on us. It depends on them. I mean, it's their history. It's their story. We're just listening to them sing their song, listen to them tell their story. And we're saying that we can help you many, many ways to do better. We can give you an environment. We can give you a community that while we can't protect you from everything, we can give you an umbrella to operate under, not hauling freight, not transportation services, but services for the ones that do transportation services. We are a service company, a one-stop support service company, financial services, financial technology company. We come in and help people do these things, Leah. We have truck sales. We've got back office support. We turn around and have a management services. We do everything that you need from the truck level up. We're just not a motor carrier. We don't sell freight. We don't broker freight. We don't dispatch freight. We service those people that do that, that haul the freight, that transport the freight, and the motor carriers that has the freight. So I know I went a whole bunch of things and I threw you a bunch of topics. So now we can really get busy, right?
Yeah, exactly. You see me smiling, and it's because yet again you took the words out of my mouth. But I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. You know, I do a lot of consulting in the industry, and folks, they admit that we are very strong in recruiting drivers in the trucking industry, and we absolutely miss the mark when it comes to retention. And that is not true at ES and with the partner motor carriers. So there's some significant components that play into that. But you started rattling them off and you took it away from me, but I'm going to say it anyway. You know, we've got great motor carriers where they're respecting you. And if you ask any professional driver, what does it take, you know, to really be appealing at a company, they're going to say, of course, you know, making money, getting home when I need to, you know, meeting my personal needs. Yes. But also respecting me. And how does respect come across? A lot of times it plays into those first two components that I just mentioned. But also, you know, when you add to that respectful business arrangement, you've got advantages like operational support, truck financing, fuel shop and tire discounts, accounting services, legal services, truck insurance, health insurance, occupational accident coverage, non-trucking liability, safety and education services, chaplain counseling, nearly unheard of, telemedicine, again, for contractors, easy access, prescription drug discount card, and identity theft protection. So, we're talking about not just a package, but it seems to me it's got a red bow on it. And since I talk to thousands of drivers every year, I think it warrants just pointing out, that a lot of folks ask for particular things in a business relationship, and that's what ES is looking to deliver.
It is, Lee, and I appreciate you. Go ahead. You have something else to say?
No, go ahead. Steal my thunder.
I won't steal your thunder. I can't. You got sunshine. Hey, let me bring the thunder. You bring the
Yeah,
sunshine.
you probably forgot what you were going to say.
Well, you try to mess me up.
All right, all right. Well, look, with the limited time that we have left, I do want our attendees to also know a little bit more about the event and what, adding to all of these world-class amenities and folks that are attending. We've got some token things that go into the planning and make it extra special. I always point out the food because I'm an eater, but ES likes to serve a good hot meal. You talk about breaking bread. It's because you truly are. Well, you're not breaking bread, but everyone else is at the table. Jeff's got some, he's very stringent on his healthy diet, but everyone else is breaking bread at the table with Jeff Tacker. So we've got great meals. Hotel is provided to attendees, to pre-registered attendees. We've got giveaways at the event. In fact, that's how we end. So you're walking away extra happy with your winning ticket. In fact, we were at an event this summer, and we did a nice dinner there. You just mentioned I spoke at that event, and the excitement on the winners. In fact, there was one like repeat winner throughout the night. So anyway, giveaways and things that we've designed special, but it's not just about learning about ES. It's not just hearing Eric McElvaney talk about his life-changing opportunity and overcoming challenges and adversity. It's not just meeting folks like me and Jimmy Mack and folks from Women in Trucking and from Dobbs, from Stoops, from Loves, from TA Petro, from accounting services, our own back office people that are offering support, safety services. So all of these different vendors are engaging with attendees at the Success in Trucking engagement.
They are, Leah. And I tell you, I want to make sure that we're clear. I know you and I have covered a lot of ground and a lot of territory today. And, we're speaking pretty quickly and people are on there, and I know we're recording it, so they might get to go back later and we might be able to put snippets out or segments out. But if they'll take anything away from the conversation that we're dealing with right here, Leah, it's that we just want to help. And I know a lot of people say that, and a lot of people act like they want to, but not many people will do it. And not many people have set things up to help them. Everything that we set up is to help the people in the truck. We tell every motor carrier, that's one thing that differentiates the motor carriers that we're with too. We tell them that we're going to set ourselves up across the table from you. It's still going to be the same table, but it's going to be across the table from you. And we're going to be on side of the operator, of the independent contractor. We are on their side to help them do what's best for their business. We are business-minded people helping business-minded people with motor carriers. And so everything that we've done is set ourselves up to be that way. And the motor carriers we're with says, we understand that. We will be able to hold our own in these conversations, and we'll be able to sing our own song and tell our own story. And we'll assure you that we will take care of the people. Now, there's always things that happen, and there's no such thing. Every rose has its thorn, Leah. And I'm not trying to steal the song that came from whoever that was. Every rose has its thorn. But, there's always stuff that you deal with. And there's no place this side of heaven that's perfect. And since there's not, they just got to get to a place that's going to be good for them. You need to get into somewhere that can help them, and they need to get there with somebody that will be invested with and engaged with them and walking out, so they never stand alone, what they're wanting to do. They've got many choices out there. They can run. There's so many everywhere you go. If you don't believe me, this place, that the world's not full of trucking choices, just go to any interstate, pull off safely, way off the side, and just count the number of trucks that come by and count the number of different motor carriers that are listed on those trucks. And you can pick lots of opportunities. And a lot of those people are there because they have to be. Some of them are there because they think they want to be. And I'm telling you that in many cases, they shouldn't be where they say that they are or where they are, because they are settling for something better than what's set up for them to do and what they could get. Now, we are not perfectly, and I said it before, our company's not perfect. I don't think I am, but no stretch of the imagination, I think I'm perfect. I'm as flawed as anybody. But what I will tell you is that we have a good company with good intentions, with good motor carriers, with a wonderful community of people that's marching in the same direction, that's working for the same goals, that's looking at the same outcome, that's got the same intent, tone, desires to help the people do better. And if they will give us a chance and they'll come talk to us, it's not easy. It's not going to be perfect, but I will tell you it will be real.
I want to tell you, when I previewed this webinar on your podcast, I was asked what to expect in the live session. And I said, an in-person video version of the discussion joined by Jeff Tacker, who's going to offer his perspective and personal and professional goals that you and the ES team and community have laid out and planned for folks. And I think you've just done that. So good on you, and thank you for making an honest woman out of me. If I could cue up Bret Michaels and Poison here to sing for everyone in our outro, I would, but sadly, I do not have that skill set. I do just want to ask you a final word. Folks that are here, that are listening, that are attending, certainly we're going to follow up with them about the Success in Trucking engagement. We've just been talking about it for so long, and make plans for that. But certainly they can go ahead and get the process started as well. As you said, we can help folks at any point in their journey. So in terms of prep for the site, in 1 minute or less, anything last final say that you want to offer to the folks before I take us out of here?
No, just give us a chance and check us out, try us and see. And if I know you'll do it, you'll give our website and our phone number and all that stuff.
Yep, it's in the chat, and I'm also going to queue it up here if my friendly help behind the scenes will do that. And again, if I could queue up some Poison today, I would, but I just I'll have to save that for next time. What I will say is in this new year of 2024, it is all about you, your new business, its advantages, making more, saving more, having more. Now's the time. This is the place, as Jeff said, to start your own trucking business. And we want to thank you for attending. If you're not currently in touch with ES, there are a variety of ways here that you can be. And in addition, by registering with us today, we will automatically follow up with you about the upcoming events and offerings, specifically and especially the Site 2024 in April in Southaven. ES hopes that you'll take the time to join in their community in a variety of ways. You can get in touch, stay in touch, attend the site April 11th and 12th in Southaven. I'll see you there. And our contact info and reservation info is right here on the screen. In the meantime, we hope you stay well, stay safe, and connected, as with ES, you never stand alone. Thank you, Jeff, for joining me today.
Thank you, Leah.